Are you a Jewish grandparent? By that I mean, are you Jewish and a grandparent, whether it be of a Jewish grandchild or a non-Jewish grandchild, or a grandchild who we're not sure whether that kid is going to grow up to feel that he or she is Jewish or not Jewish? If you are, I'd like to talk to you. I'm Stephen M. Cohen, research professor at the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, and I have some interesting findings from my research. I'm a sociologist on Jewish grandparents today. Here's one thing we know about our generation. I'm a baby boomer, like many of you. There are more of us than ever before in American history. Our generation of people born before and after 1950, give or take, we are the largest generation ever to live on this soil here in the United States. And we have more grandchildren than any generation in American history. And we are probably the most well-educated and, on average, the most affluent. And we're, on the whole, pretty Jewishly committed. Now, many of our children, perhaps most of our children, have married non-Jews. That means that for many of our children, for many of our grandchildren, there's a choice. Will they be highly Jewishly engaged? Will they be somewhat Jewishly engaged? Will they be Jewish and non-Jewish? Will they be non-Jewish? All of those decisions can be influenced, of course, by parents, but the research shows they can be influenced by grandparents. Why do I say that? One thing that we learn is that all of us have, shall we say, complicated relationships with our parents. Some are great, some are not so great, some are both great and not so great. But one thing we learned from our research is that everybody has nice things to say about their grandparents. They remember their grandparents as loving role models. And you know what? We have research that shows that in terms of religion, in terms of commitment to social identities, it's the grandparents who can have a great influence. They can even bypass the parents. And how do they have that influence? They have that influence by what Woody Allen calls one of the most important things about a job, and that is just showing up. If you're a grandparent and you see your grandchildren, what I'm saying to you is you have an opportunity and a responsibility and a possibility of showing up a little more. You could show up in person, which is terrific. And if you're living far away from your grandchildren, you could show up by Skype. You could show up for holidays. You can have your children and grandchildren come to you. Any way in which you can increase contact with your grandchildren will affect their future identity as Americans and as Jews. The second thing that you can do is not only show up and be there and be yourself and create great relationships. The other thing you can do is, if you're in a position to do so, is to help out with supporting the Jewish education of your grandchildren. You could say, look, if you want to send your kids to a preschool or nursery and it's not particularly Jewish, then that's your business. If you're thinking about sending your kid to a synagogue or JCC or otherwise Jewishly sponsored preschool, I can help out. I'll make that possible for you. We have research that shows that kids who go to preschools, to Jewish preschools, actually turn out to be much more involved or somewhat more involved in Jewish life years later, not because of what they learned, the nursery rhymes they learn in those schools, but because their parents, your children, and their spouses become more involved in the Jewish community. And then we can go on. If day school is a possibility for your grandchild, then day schools, as you know, are rather expensive, and they could rely in part upon your financial help. Going on, Jewish day camps. They can go to a non-sectarian day camp, or they can go to a Jewish day camp, such as those sponsored by JCCs and federations and other Jewish organizations. Those Jewish day camps cost some money, and they also seem to have a long-lasting effect on the Jewishness of the child and the family. And then, of course, there's overnight Jewish camps. When your grandchild's old enough, 9, 10, 11 years old, they'll be looking around for a summer camp. Well, here too, you can influence the decisions made by your children and your grandchildren. And you can watch your children go to any of a number of Jewish camps. They could be those that are explicitly religious, such as Camp Ramah or the URJ camps. They could be the Zionist camps, such as Habonim or Young Judea, or they could be the Jewish camps for Jews of all persuasions, such as those run by JCCs and federations and some synagogues. All of these camps, all of these Jewish camps, have long-lasting effects upon the Jewishness of your grandchildren. So, in thinking about the future, we should all live and be healthy. Ad mea v'esrim, until 120. We have a chance to bestow a great gift in terms of our legacy, and that is to help our grandchildren develop as committed and as knowledgeable and as connected Jews as they can possibly be. And it turns out that you, as a grandparent, can help make that happen. I'm Stephen M. Cohen, research professor at the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion in New York, and I've been talking to you about you and your grandchildren. Thank you very much.